The True Ambition podcast with John Zink is brought to you by IT Avalon. IT Avalon, IT staffing and professional services done right. Visit our sponsor at itavalon.com. Now, welcome to True Ambition.
Everybody, welcome to the True Ambition podcast. My name is John Zink. And I'm joined today by singer-songwriter Josh Kelley. Josh,
yes,
thanks
sir.
for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is going to be great. So just to let you know up front, Ed might give me some shit if I say the word awesome, because I say the word awesome all the time.
Awesome.
Oh, man, I already did it. So Josh is joining us from his ranch in Utah.
Yep.
He was born and raised in Augusta, Georgia, and just watched the Masters there a couple weeks ago. And
yeah, I was down there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was down there playing a couple private shows. One of them actually for the National, and then a different private show for a different company. But it was crazy. It was weird. It was weird without patrons and all that. It was actually everybody was saying that, like, a lot of the older people in Augusta were saying that it's the way it was like way back in the day. They were like, it was kind of like felt sort of throwback.
Yeah.
You know, when there wasn't hardly near as many people watching the tournament.
Well, it's interesting to listen to some of the interviews with these professional and college players that are playing in front of, piped in sound in the football games. And I can't imagine.
So weird.
It's got to be weird for them playing the game with none of that, the 12th man for the football teams and stuff like that.
I haven't even thought about that as far as like the rookies, it being their first experience, and their first experience is like crickets. That's right. Terrible.
I heard there was one game where I heard some booze coming through. I'm like, they're piping in booze?
That is amazing. Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. This would be a great year for somebody to have a huge catalog of sound design, that just went out and like recorded crowds of any kind or just anything like that, and you can sell all that.
Yeah.
That's wild, man.
So we got, he is married. His wife is the actress and model Katherine Heigl.
Yep.
And 3 kids, 2 daughters, and 1 son.
Yep.
And if I remember correctly, your son is a junior, right?
Yes, he is. That was actually Katie's idea. I was going to name him Abel. I just thought that was kind of cool, like Abel Kelley. But she thought it would be cool to have, a junior. And now, honestly, like, I can't imagine him being any other name. He's Joshy. Yeah. If I tried to call him Abe right now, I'd be like, nah, that doesn't look like him at all.
Well, you got Joshy, and I got Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah.
That's what I was calling you, actually, when I did that show for you. I was calling you Johnny, because that's my older brother's name is John, and everybody always called him Johnny, and we all idolized him. So now anybody named John, whether they get offended or not, I don't care. I just call him Johnny.
You'd have to call me a lot worse than that to offend me. So.
oh, I know.
So appreciate you being here. I absolutely love the new album.
Thanks, man.
My Baby in the Band.
Yeah.
So title track, is that written for your wife?
Yeah. I mean, it was actually in that song I wrote with my buddy Dustin Christensen, who used to live here in Utah, and he was basically like the only person here that I could co-write with. And now his songs have gotten so big that he moved to Nashville, and he's hardly ever here anymore. So I'm back to writing alone. But we wrote that song together, and it was the whole idea. Is basically, it's about the band. It's my favorite band in the world is the band, and I'm a huge fan of Levon, and the way he plays drums is the way I learned when I was a kid. But so it's about basically, sitting back with a glass of wine with your loved one and dropping the needle on your favorite album. And
so is that the reason it starts off with the drums? like that?
Yeah, and it's also, there's reference to the songs. The night they drove Old Dixie down. That's one of the songs, and there's subtle little references to songs from the band in the song. So it was just kind of a clever title, and I think just like a really nice, easy way to sort of create that feeling of laying back and just chilling, and letting all your worries go away. Let the music heal you. And sometimes my friends, and sometimes even me, I get caught up on trying to be too clever, write something too heavy, and it's like sometimes a song just needs to be just chill and easy and not too complicated. And I think that's the case for that song, My Baby and the Band. It just feels good. Feels like what I grew up listening to when I was in my mom's car, and she was like always listening to the Doobie Brothers and shit like that.
Yeah, the Doobies just got put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Fantastic.
And about time. So when was the new record released?
See, it was actually released when I was at the Masters. So Friday the 13th, November 13th is when it came out. And we had a record release party out there in Augusta, and where hardly anybody was taking COVID very seriously at all. I mean, my dad and I were the only ones wearing masks everywhere. Anyway, I don't mean to throw it under the bus. I think I don't think it's too heavy down in their area anyway. But the record just came out, and it's performing way better than I thought. Because I'm back to being independent again, and I love it. But I am on Universal Records for distribution, and so we've got our little team with my manager and my publicist and an assistant, and it's a small team. And I don't expect like the results that I used to get when they were putting millions of dollars in my career. But the damn thing came out gangbusters, man, number 3 right out of the gate, and it's like, okay, the game has totally changed.
Yeah.
You don't have to have somebody pouring in millions of dollars that, by the way, you have to recoup before you see any money right. Anyway. If they spend $2 million on promoting your single, well, you have to make $2 million before you see a cent.
Right.
And, now we've got it worked out to where, without sounding like whatever, I'm making more money than I ever have because I have my business model is just better.
What you really need to do, or what most people need to do, is maybe come to Reno and play a show right before their album comes out at my wife's birthday party, which is what you
like
did.
What I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you did was you played a song called Loves You Like Me.
Yes.
And I remember watching and listening and going, that's a great song. And then I was pleasantly surprised to see that's a new song and it's on the new album.
It sure is.
Would you play that for us right now?
Absolutely. I'll play it for you right now. Actually, some of these songs I write for my wife as kind of like a get out of jail free card. You know what I mean?
Been there,
whenever
done that.
Whenever I get in trouble, I just go lock myself away and write her something, and then I erase all the damage. So here's Loves You Like Me. They might know your name and they might know your face, but I dare say they don't know your heart. They've only seen you all put together, they ain't never seen you fall apart. They don't know who you are, but I get to watch you kissing the curls on the top of our baby girl's head, and I get to hold you while we fall asleep in the middle of our king-size bed. Everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. Yeah, everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me. To the crowd in the room, you're the life of the party. To me, you're my reason to live. I run out of steam where you're just getting started. It's hard not to love your best friend. Everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. 'Cause I get to watch you run through the rain in the parking lot down at the mall. And I can't count the times you've kissed away pain and you pick me back up when I fall. Everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. Yeah, everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me. I watch the shade of your beautiful eyes change with the rise of the sun. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. Yeah, I'm the only one. 'Cause I got to watch you light up the room down the aisle with that wedding dress on. And I got to dance with a lady that everyone wishes that they could take home. Everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. Yeah, everyone loves you, but nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me. Nobody loves you like me.
Yeah, buddy.
Sweet.
That was awesome. Listen,
I had to think a lot because I usually play that on piano. And I'm if you saw smoke coming off my head, it's because I was thinking, like, wait a second, what's the next chord?
I bet you that got you out of jail. That's a great song.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
It's wonderful. I remember watching you playing it and going, I was hugging my wife. I'm like, this is a perfect song. It's so good.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that one. I took my time on that one. It took. I actually had the song almost finished for about a year, and then I just knew that it needed another, basically like a final, because the choruses are all different, same melody, but it's like the only song I've ever written where each chorus is its own, lyrical movement. And I was on a bike ride. I'm a big cyclist, and I was on a bike ride, and I wrote that whole last chorus, going up this steep hill and dictating into my phone. And I remember coming back going, oh, thank God this song is done. It's buttoned up. It's finally buttoned up.
So when did you first get into music?
I was a little kid, and my mom, there was this, like, I don't know what you call it, it's like a sitting room that no one ever sits in. She had one of those when I was growing up, and there was this awesome Yamaha piano in there, this upright piano, and I used to just sit down and play chords, and I would just figure things out, just like whatever sounded good. I never had any training or anything like that, but I always had an ear, and so I started messing around with that. And then my older brother, I think I was maybe 11 or something like that maybe I was 10 or 11. He brought a guitar home from college that he bought at a pawn shop, and he accidentally left it when he went back to school. And then a month later, when he came back to visit again, I was playing Led Zeppelin songs on it. And he was like, just freaking give it to him. So, I think I started around that time.
Okay.
10, 11, something like that. And I didn't even know I could really sing until I got to college. I knew I could sing, but my younger brother was always the singer of our bands. If you don't know who that is, that's Charles Kelley. He's the tall drink of water in the band Lady Antebellum. Well, now they call Lady A.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking up, doing research, and I saw that they changed it to Lady A. And just like people were like getting in, tying their tongue in knots trying to say it, or what?
No, it was because of what when Black Lives Matter happened, and also with it obviously not when it happened. It's been around for a while, but I think it's when they were getting they just with the fact that the name has to do with like before the war. It means late, before antebellum means before the war.
Yeah.
Years ago when they came up with the name, it was just a cool sounding name.
Right.
But they didn't realize that it had so many sort of negative things attached to it, and they were like, people already call us Lady A anyway. Yeah. And the majority of people do, and so they just decided to go ahead and change it and do the right thing, and they did. So
was you guys are all into music? Was there someone in your family? Your dad's a doctor, right?
Yeah, he's a doctor.
So who in your family was into music that got all you guys into music?
I mean, my older brother John, he has a Led Zeppelin cover band called Black Dog.
Nice.
It's hilarious, dude. They're so good. You think when you go to see their show, because they're all in like khaki pants and like plaid shirts and penny loafers and like Dixie cups in their hand, and you think that they're about to suck. And then all of a sudden, my older brother with his bald head goes, "Yay, Mama said the way you move," and then all the roof just explodes off the place. It's the most unassuming cover band you ever seen. So yeah, John, I think John, I would say he got us into it. Johnny got us into music, and then we just kind of took the ball running. Really, I'll go ahead and tell you, I did. I always knew that it was a possibility. I mean, even when we were kids, I'd say, I'm going to do this for a living. And I remember Charles going like, "No, you're not. Nobody can. People are born into it." I'm like, I don't think so. I think they're just regular people, And so when I got to college and I started getting I actually went to college on a golf scholarship. And when I started playing local shows and I realized I was getting more dates playing music than golf, I started really focusing on music, and 3 years into college, I had a record deal, and I just left.
Well, it's funny you say that because my background is that I was a drummer from the time I was a little kid. My first kit was blue bonnet butter dishes and pencils on my mom's table.
Dude, that was our life right there. Same thing. Yeah.
And then finally, I saved up enough money to buy myself my first drum set. And then, it was that was my identity, all through high school.
Do you still have that kit?
I don't have that kit. No, I've got.
I do.
You do?
I still have my first one from when we were like 13 or 14.
What's the brand?
Tama.
Oh yeah.
Tama. Yeah. I still have it.
That was my first set. Was a Tama. So it was a 24-inch bass drum. My mom drove me to Rockford, Illinois, to go buy it. 24-inch bass drum. All the drums were oversized. I came home and I remember I set that up in my room, and I was a rock star.
Oh yeah, dude.
It was amazing. I was in this little bitty town, in Northwest Illinois. When I set that thing up, I played every song. When you're talking about Led Zeppelin, that's it. I first learned to Beatles albums, Beatles songs. My mom had all these 45s and stuff. Then I put on Led Zeppelin, and John Bonham blew my mind. Still does to this day.
Oh, dude, no, he is the standard. He's what I was trying to do all those triplet kicks and stuff when I was a kid. But you know what? You just I have to write this down. You just came up with a great idea for a song. Can I dictate in my phone real quick?
Yes.
Okay. I came from a small town, and when I set that kid up in my room, I was a rock star in a big city. Something like that. I have to put it in there. But that's when you said that, that's kind of what I thought was about to come out of your mouth. I was a kid in a small town, because my mom, the same thing. Like, why is it moms that are always like, every time I talk to somebody about who got them into music, it's like, yeah, my mom drove me to go do this. Same thing with me
Dad
and
wasn't
you.
going to do it.
No, my mom did it.
I'd be playing the drums. My dad would come home and say, "Turn that shit off."
Yeah. Believe me, man. I remember. That's so funny. Moms are they're the best. They are. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it. My mom was actually. She was a drummer in school. She was a majorette, but she also played in the band, which is probably why she can't hear anymore, hardly. Because back then they didn't have like sound baffling in those rooms. It was just like, yeah, just go set up over there. Set up in the corner where all the stone is and your cilia is going to lay down. Anyway, but she grew up with, she obviously has great timing and she's a good drummer. And so she really encouraged that for us. She wanted us to learn how, and by God, she was fine with us being right up above her, beating away at those drums while she's trying to watch Oprah or whatever it was.
Oh, I hope to God, I see Johnny every once in a while pounding on his leg when we're singing Jingle Bells or whatever, because it's almost Christmas time, and he's 2.5, so he's just starting to talk right now.
Yeah,
and I hope and pray that he gets it, because
he probably will. I mean, he probably will, but you really never know, and I'm trying to decide, like, with little Joshua Jr., he's going to be 4 here in a month. Do I want to start kind of like putting things in front of him yet, or just let him find it on its own? Like, should I put a little guitar in his room or a keyboard or something, or just the fact that he's surrounded by it all the time? Maybe I don't have to, I don't know. It's hard because my dad, he was never the kind of guy, in Augusta, Georgia, if you don't play the game of golf, you literally have no friends. And my younger brother and my older brother, we were all really good golfers. But my dad was like the only dad that was not pushing us too hard, and like sending us to like all these swing coaches in other states and all that kind of shit. He just sort of stayed out of it,
right?
And we would just play and have fun together. And so there's something beautiful about that too, I feel like there's a sweet spot. I think you give them the opportunities, but you don't push them too hard. Because a lot of those kids that had all those swing coaches and stuff ended up basically like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not phased out, but they just kind of burnt out.
Yeah, you get burnt out.
They burned out before they even had a chance to be really great,
I had this guy I went to school with. Well, the town I grew up in, you go to school with somebody from kindergarten to 12th grade, a 1,500 people town. So my graduating class was 36 people.
Amazing.
And this guy, Casey Kenna, he was always on the golf course, and I went out there like junior or senior in high school. I know I had my driver's license, and he's like, "Hey, Boomer," my nickname was Boomer. He goes, "Hey, I'll bet you $20 I can beat you. I'll have a 7-iron only, and you can use all of your clubs." I said, "Okay, ass, let's do this." He beat me so badly, his 7-iron all the way through, and I just didn't know anything about the game, and he saw me coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's something my older brother would have done. He used to have these Dr. Buck teeth that he could put in. It made him look like a real like messed up redneck. And he would stop at these like podunk country clubs on his way back home, and he would hustle people out of hundreds of dollars, just like topping it off the first tee and saying, "Man, I'm feeling good today," and then like all of a sudden shooting like 67 or whatever. Dude, you would love him. There's no one like him.
Well, so when you guys had a band together, right? Your younger brother?
We did, yeah. We had a band called Inside Blue.
And what kind of stuff did you guys play?
It was kind of like a cross between, let's see, I'll give you three examples. Okay. It was like, it was like Supertramp meets Hootie and the Blowfish.
I love Supertramp, man. Talk about harmonies.
Oh, dude, I grew up with Supertramp, Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. I mean, that's all my older brother for you right there. Just taking us everywhere with him, and he was rocking out all the time. So yeah, we had that band, and actually we did really well. I mean, we were all like 15, 16, 14 years old. And it did really well kind of right out of the gate. And I remember James Brown's manager heard us on the radio, the local radio station, and he got in touch with us, and they wanted to sign us to a record deal. And I remember him going, "You guys are going to have he was like, he's trying to remember, he's like, "You're going to have a CD release party in New York City, and all the hottest chicks are going to be there. You're going to love it." And my dad was like, no way. My dad was like, "We're not signing anything." And at the time, we were so mad at him. But now,
you're like, what?
Yeah, and now we're like, oh my God, this would be a completely different
world.
Different world right now. I'd be on some street corner probably with like, who knows, I'd probably be dead by now. So he made the right decisions, is what I'm trying to say.
So you told me when we met before that you play like 14 instruments, right?
Yeah. If you can't tell that my wife thinks that I have ADD. I've never been tested, but I jump around all the time. But I think that whatever it is that is going on in my brain, it makes it easy for me to learn more instruments because it's a language, it's a repeatable pattern, and so I basically just have a thirst for knowledge when it comes to music, and also out of necessity. If I needed a cello part and I was like, shit, I don't know any cello players around here, and so what I would do is like get on Craigslist and buy some student cello for $100, and then I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos and learned it. But when I was a kid, I started off on drums and piano and guitar first. And I feel like if you want a kid to learn music for life, put them on something like, I actually think piano is probably the most ideal, but you want to learn drums or something percussive first, because then throughout your whole life, you'll be able to deliver even singing or all the other instruments, you deliver them with more of a percussive timing.
Right.
So you learn all those things, like, to be able to like, to have that, just like, that have that better hands for it.
Right.
So yeah, I started on drums, started on piano and guitar, and then, next thing you know, I'm the bass player in the band, so I'm learning bass, and then from there, it just started kind of stretching out. I learned lap steel, mandolin, banjo, what else? Cello. God, I don't even know anymore. I mean,
so when you're recording like this last album, do you play all the instruments?
Yeah, I would say on 80% of the tracks, I'm playing everything.
Okay.
Some of the tracks, whenever I'm in LA, and I can assemble my band that I play live with, we go to King Size Sound Labs in LA, which is a great studio there, and we'll cut live as a full band. And to be honest with you, I prefer cutting things live as a full band. I like the tug and the pull of it, but I don't have that luxury out here where I live because it's a very small town, and I'm the only drummer and the only bass player and the only singer. I mean, there's no one.
So, who are your favorite singers?
That is tough. I mean, because I have a lot of favorites because it depended on whose car I was in when I was a kid. But I would say, if I had to just pick maybe like a handful, I would say Stevie Wonder. I've always been a huge Stevie Wonder fan. Another favorite singer, Donny Hathaway, my God. And then favorite singers that have like their own thing. James Taylor's got his own thing. Mm-hmm. There is no one that sounds like him. You really can't say that it's the prettiest voice in the world. It's not. It's just something about it is so soothing, and he just owns it. It's his. The way his phrasing, everything. So he's one of my favorite singers as well.
Yeah, and those freaking songs.
Oh, God. He's so good at guitar. You don't realize how great at guitar he is.
You know who was interesting? I saw years ago in Dubuque, Iowa, who I was amazed at what a great musician he was Willie Nelson on guitar.
Really? I didn't know that.
Couldn't believe it. He's no pick. He's just doing the old finger thing. Yeah. And I had no freaking clue.
Really? I didn't either. I didn't either. That's awesome.
It was great. So one of the things, we sat down and had dinner there in Reno, and you told me a story about Napster.
Oh,
and
yes.
It was the way that you got your first record deal. So you remember the movie Jerry Maguire when he gets that big client and he's like in his car and he's beating on the steering wheel, he's so excited? Yeah.
When I came up with this, I call it's not a scheme. It was just like sort of an accident when I was using Napster. I literally did that when I was driving back home from the library. I was beating on the steering wheel. I was so overjoyed because I knew it was going to work. So what I did is I remember when one of my friends told me to download Napster and you can, get a bunch of music and all this kind of stuff. And so I did that. And I was just at that time starting to really kind of produce my own music on a better level. And so I used Napster to get my music out there. And so nobody else had my song, so I had to have my laptop open so that they could download my songs. And I remember thinking like, all right, this dial up here at my place is just too slow. So what I would do is I would take my laptop to the library where they had like Ethernet and they had a firewall. And I would just leave my laptop open, and I would call my friends and say, hey, you can download the song now. But then there was an accident. I accidentally right-clicked on somebody's username. And it was actually when I was looking up James Taylor songs. And at the time on Napster, even if there was like 20,000 people hosting James Taylor songs, only 100 results would come up. It was limited to that. So I accidentally right-clicked, and a little box came up, and it was like, would you like to send Janet 57 a message? And I was like, what? And so I sent Janet 57 a message saying, hey, I noticed that you like James Taylor. If you like James Taylor, you're going to love this kid I just found named Josh Kelley. You're going to love him. He's awesome. And so I did that, and I was like, all right, maybe I could just send all 100 people that same damn message. And so I sent all 100 people that same message. Next day, I opened up my laptop, and there's like tons of people that have my songs that are also now hosting my songs. So I came up with the idea of doing 100 a day for like 2 months. That was like my goal. And I sent it to 100 people a day. And after about a month and a half, my music on Napster had gone totally viral. And then one of the recipients, I remember that day because it happened twice. One of the recipients sent me a message back saying, hey, I love this. Who is this guy? And I was like, well, it's actually me. I'm Josh Kelley. I'm trying to get my music out there. He goes, well, I'm an A&R guy for Hollywood Records, and I really love this. And I went, what? And I thought it was total BS. And he said, can I call you tomorrow? So I gave him my number over Napster, and he called me the next day. It was crazy. And I remember, too, there was Aware Records. A guy at Aware Records also sent me a message wanting to talk about my music. And it was all because of this little loophole that I found in Napster. And I remember when I finally got that record deal and my single was doing really well and I was on tour, and Napster had already been dissolved by then because of
Thanks, Lars.
Yeah, thanks, Lars. Some of the old street team came up to my shows and said, hey, man, we were actually trying to like catch you. We were trying to find you and stop you. And the whole reason they couldn't find me and stop me because I was at college and they had a firewall at the library that they couldn't get my IP address.
That is so great.
It was so wild. So yeah, I mean, I owe the internet. That's why I don't get mad about the internet. I owe the internet my the beginnings of my career. I mean, I warp zoned into the big leagues like overnight, and it was scary. I was not prepared. I had no idea that was going to happen. My goal was just for people. I wanted the masses to have my music, and Napster was a way.
Right.
I don't think that I was even thinking record deal until it happened.
Yeah, I'm sure you weren't thinking record deal when you were sending out 100 messages a day.
Maybe I was. I don't know.
I want someone to hear my music. I mean, I can imagine being that kid or that young adult sitting there going, listen, I just want somebody to hear this. Yeah. As a musician, as an artist, you sit there and you go through this for a reason, because you create your art as an extension of yourself. Yeah. And then we really just want to help people and create something good for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then you want somebody to hear it. You want somebody to hear it. Whatever it is.
Especially if you know it's good. And, I feel you can't kid yourself. If you know it's good, it's good.
Right.
And I wanted people to hear it. I wanted praise too. I wanted, like an artist that finally gets their wall in a prestigious art gallery, that's like, it's a big deal. And I did want that. I knew that I was good enough. But what I was not ready for is like, needing a look or all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I literally was like, I showed up to Hollywood Records. It's a damn wonder I got a record deal showing up there like that with like long hair and Birkenstocks on and shorts and like a golf shirt. And it's like, I'm sure they were like, this guy's not a star. Like, what is this? But I started singing some songs and it worked out. But they did a big makeover on me I remember like doing my first photo shoot, and this gal comes in. She was like, "We're gonna take care of these eyebrows," and she comes in and she like. I mean, dude, it was so painful. I had tears coming in my eyes. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Did they wax it?
She took tweezers and just sculpted it.
Ow!
And they cut my hair, and they gave me this. And to be honest with you, I look back at those photos and I was balking against all that, and I'm like, man, they made me look way cooler. Like we should have used all those photos. That was a great look. I was like, I wish I had that jacket right now, man. Damn, that was dope. But at the time, I was like, don't mess with me. Don't change me.
Yeah. That's so great. Well, your first hit was amazing, right?
Yes.
Would you go ahead and play that song for us?
Yeah, I'll play that song for you guys. Yeah, this song kind of came out of nowhere when I was a kid. When I was in college, I just started this little. I remember sitting on the bed playing it like this little bouncy rhythm. And really, the first words out of my mouth were actually, became the lyrics. So I'll play it for you right now. Cause you paint a picture on the wall. Cause you got a lot to tell me, but you don't think you can say it better. Oh, baby, you're bringing up times I can't recall. And I'm sure they made your point, but I just can't seem to remember. And I know you got the feeling, and I can't say I'm agreeing with your topic of conversation. So just listen to the reasons and the hints that I've been given to the thoughts of my imagination. So come on, let me sing. I said, baby, you're amazing. I want to let you see you are everything and more to me. I will let you be. I will. Cause I saw you walking down the hall, and I had a lot to tell you, but I didn't think you could say it better. Oh, baby, you were good at making me feel so small. And I know you made your point, but I just don't want to remember. I want to sound like Michael McDonald. I know you got the feeling, and I can't say I'm agreeing with your topic of conversation. So just listen to the reason and the hints that I've been given to the thoughts of my imagination. So come on, let me sing. I said, baby, you're amazing. I want to let you see that you are everything and more to me. I will let you be. I will. Take him to the bridge. Cause I'm dancing around in your world of play, taking my time to make sure you stay. I would give my life to make it okay. Yeah. So come on, let me sing. Boom, boom, boom. She got style, she got grace, and need for makeup on her face. Came in no surprise to me, she got a great personality. I try to better, can't afford to give her, because all of my love just don't seem to be enough. It's a common formality, a contagious technicality. Damn, she's so good to me, and find out how to break the pieces. Please, this ain't the way it seems. If you could dance in my shoes, you know, special company. So stupid.
That's awesome, man. Michael McDonald's the best.
Oh, you know what it is my younger brother can do it really well. It's like you have to be comfortable with pushing a lot of air, like letting a lot of air pass through your voice. I mean, I don't know if that's how he does it, but that is definitely how it sounds. It's like, yeah, you gotta be higher. I have this thing too called like Michael McDonald's McDonald's. Did I ever do that for you?
I think you were doing it at Carissa's birthday party.
Did I do it at her birthday?
Oh, it's the best.
So stupid.
Do it.
So
do it. It's great.
It was an idea that came from taking Naley through McDonald's because we're not allowed to really. My mom doesn't allow it, but sometimes we're like, let's go.
It's
get
a treat.
Biscuit. It's a treat. And so I was like, Naley, I wonder what would it sound like if Michael McDonald was taking your order at McDonald's. And I was like, I think it sounded like this. And it was like, would you like a hot apple pie? Maybe some cheeseburgers and fries. She has a 995 as she rises to her conclusion. Is it gonna be a Coke or maybe a Sprite? It just goes on forever. Is it what it's like what a fool will eat or something like that. I can't remember how it goes. It's so stupid.
It's the best.
My band members have actually added to it. It's like 4 minutes long. It's so stupid.
Oh, it's like band rehearsal for us. I swear to God, we'll get maybe a half hour's worth of stuff done, and the rest of it's just busting a gut on stupid shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, actually, that's where a lot of great songs come from, though. I mean, I really, really miss touring right now. Boy,
Well,
I
that
mean,
was
I
one
was
of the things I was going to
man.
talk about. Is like, we haven't played music since New Year's Eve of last year, you know, because, you know, COVID just came and wiped everything out. People need live music, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was really excited to have you on here today. You and I talked a little bit about, you actually built a stage, right?
I did. I built a stage in my. So right now I'm at my house because I'm still on daddy duty. But my main studio is down at the ranch, and it's this big tracking facility. And so what I did is I actually moved a bunch of stuff out of there. I built this stage that's probably, I don't know what it's probably like 10 by 10 or something like that. And I made it look like the Hotel Cafe in Los Angeles. You know, with the rugs and the cool sort of the, what do you call that color? That like burnt sort of red kind of color behind it, and drapes, and just made it look cool and vibey.
Yeah.
And then I set up this 3-camera operation that I can change with my feet, and really super professional lighting, and some really great DSLR cameras. And I was like, this is the way it's going. I want to be ready, you know?
Right.
And so that's what I've been doing. We've been doing these shows on like a platform called Topeka. And the last one, what I did is, you know, and they're getting like vinyl records with their ticket and stuff too. That's why the ticket prices are kind of high. They're like $70. Sometimes they're $100 a ticket because of all the stuff they're getting and just the exclusive show. And it's, I think, limited to 50 people. They can see me. I can see them. I set up this huge screen in front of me. I mean, dude, I got to send you, I'll text you some pictures of the setup. It's really, really cool and super vibey and low lit. And it sounds really great too. You know, it's all going through the big rig. And then basically like what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Well, it's something that everybody needs. It's like people are talking all the time. It's like, when are you going to go back out? And that was the great thing about having you at Carissa's birthday party.
Yeah.
I told all those people, I was like, this is going to be one of your only live concerts of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
there's
and
no doubt.
It was an absolute treat for everybody to be there. And I looked around, and everybody's smiling, having a great time. And nobody done it in 8-9 months.
No, I know. No, it was wild. I mean, honestly, thank you for the opportunity because A, I needed to get out of the house, and B, I needed to play, man. You know, so it was a great opportunity for me, and it keeps, you know, keeps everything well greased too. You know, like the engine and every, you know, it keeps it going because it's like here's a, you know, it's like Tiger Woods. I'm not comparing myself to freaking Tiger Woods, but you know what I mean.
I think you just did, bro.
I didn't mean to, but what I mean is that he only plays a certain amount of tournaments a year because of his bad back.
Yeah.
So, you know, so before a major, he'll like play the tournament before the major, and he plays like shit because, you know, you need like real tournament rounds. You can't just like, it's not just a round at your local golf course that's going to have you ready. It's the pressure of being a competitive round. And that's what I got from you. You know, I need those competitive rounds in because when we, you know, if we get that vaccine and everything kind of comes back to sort of semi-normal, I'm going to hit the ground running, bro. Yeah, I feel like I was one of the first ones to do the internet live shows, and I want to be one of the first ones getting back on tour because I think it's necessary for my soul.
Yeah.
And my kids are not getting any less expensive. And
Well, one of my next door neighbors and a good friend of mine is the stand-up comic Gary Owen.
yeah, he's amazing.
And he's he just got back because he was supposed to be in Kentucky last weekend, and they shut everything down. So he came back on Friday, and he's playing twice as many shows to 50% capacity. Yeah. Yep. And for about 4 or 5 months when COVID first hit, he was out, and he's like, he goes, I haven't been home like this in 20 years, and he's like, it was great because him and I got to get pretty close and form a friendship there. But he goes, I didn't know any of my neighbors before that because I was always on the road.
Yeah. And two, people are different too. Like, I'm not like a true road dog. I only tour probably 50 dates out of the year, but like my younger brother who is on tour all the time, he's like a true road dog. When he got back home, due to COVID and everything, I mean, I'm surprised that he wasn't successful in trying to bite his own ear off. Like, he didn't know what to do with himself after the first month. He was like, I got it. He's like, I got to get out here. He's one of those dudes. He's like, I'm a total homebody. And, my wife and I were already living a very sort of quarantined life before this. So it was easy for us, but for him, oh boy. And I can't imagine for Gary, he was probably like, this is enough. This is enough for me.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting to get to know him. And I kind of like cool, you listening to getting to hear that song at Carissa's birthday party. He would be working out a few of his jokes with me in my backyard or his backyard. And then I went to see him in the summertime at a show. And then he starts off on a joke, and I'm already laughing because I've heard the joke before. Yeah. And he goes, dude, I could hear you laughing before I got done with the joke. So
that's awesome.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Who was your biggest mentor in life?
Biggest mentor? Yikes.
It's a big question.
Mentor. I mean, I'm gonna have to probably say my older brother John. I even think my younger brother Charles would say that too. He was proud to be our big brother. And he would take us everywhere with him and show us off and teach us everything. When they were doing their black dog shows and all that, I mean, we were little kids. We should never have been in any of those places. But he was like, he would go sit down on the floor, sit in the corner, and just stay there. And we would stay there and we would watch these shows. And I think just that hands-on big brother attitude that he had, he was never like embarrassed of us. He was proud of us, and we got to like run in his circles, and he would teach us the music that he exposed us to. I think was so huge and so pivotal. So I would say, if I'm really being honest with myself, I would say that it's John Kelley Jr.
And where's Johnny at now?
Johnny he's in Augusta, Georgia now. He is, he's 48, gotta be 48. And he does like commercial real estate, land development, all that kind of stuff. But they play shows like every week. I mean, Black Dog is rocking.
You can't stop playing. My wife has asked me so many times, like, when's this whole band thing going to be done? I'm like, sorry, babe.
Never done. No way. Yeah, I think I'm sure that they get in arguments about it too, because I mean, when I was there in Augusta, man, they were rocking out, dude. They had a huge show, and it's cool. They spell it too. They spell it like DAWG. It's Black Dog, and it's just so good. So yeah, I would say, I'd say that was a huge mentor for me. I'm trying to think, like, in my career, my wife is quite a mentor. I mean, she's my barometer.
Yeah.
I run every single song by her, and there's no BS, dude. If she doesn't think it's very good, she's like, I would stop working on that one. It's like, well,
you have another artist there that'll actually knows what's good to tell you and what's good to. Constructive criticism is the best.
It's scary how talented she is. If you go on a movie set, I mean, I forget because she's my wife until I go on like a movie set and watch her, and I'm like, how did you just do that? That's insane. How did you just do that?
Right.
And she'll literally look at her lines. She'll look at like 3 pages of lines like one time, and then it's done. Where other actors are over there, they're like freaking out trying to memorize their lines, and I don't know if it's a photographic memory or whatever it is, but she never has to study lines or anything like that. She just looks at it while they're doing hair and makeup, and then she steps on the stage and freaking crushes it. You're like, you're not a human, are you? Tell me where you're from.
I'm married to a cyborg.
I'm a cyborg. I'm like, where are you from? You're not from Earth.
Hey, so when I was doing the research here, I ran across a song called, I think it's called Naily Moon.
Oh, yeah, about my daughter. Yeah.
So is there a song for your other daughter?
Yes, her song is called Cowboy Love Song.
I was going to say, if you didn't have one for your other daughter, you better get busy writing one. 'Cause that's a great song. Naily Moon is so good.
Oh, yeah. No, that is like one of the best songs I've ever written. And I remember when we adopted Adelaide, a few years went by and I was like, oh, God, she doesn't have a song. There's favoritism going on.
Yeah, right.
And so I remember like really working on it and taking my time. And I came up with this great idea. And I had this working title of Cowboy Love Song. And so I sent it to Charles, and he goes, dude, I love this song, but that title sucks. And I'll tell you why it's still called Cowboy Love Song. It's because your little brother doesn't tell you what to do. That's why. It was going to be called like Adelaide's Song or something pretty, but it's called Cowboy Love Song because he told me to change the title, and I refused.
He said, not today, bud.
Not today, buddy. But yeah, hers is Cowboy Love Song, and I haven't written one for Josh Jr. yet. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to write about with him. He's so goofy.
It's like, sorry, bud, you don't get one, just the girls.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's I would say it matters most for the girls to have one. I don't know if he's going to really care or not when he's older, but I'm sure one of these days something will happen. Maybe those chords I came up with a little while ago while we were goofing around.
There you
go. That's pretty, and then this is pretty. Ooh, that is
Joshua. So you kind of brought it up there, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it for some folks that might be listening. Talk about how you guys got into adopting.
Well, so Katie's older sister was adopted from South Korea. And when we were dating, and I think it was when we were starting to get very serious, I can't remember when it was, but she said, I would like to adopt first, when we want to have kids. And it was a deal breaker for her. And I was like, well, absolutely. No problem. Like what a-hole says, no, I'm really not into like saving a child today or any day. It's like, right. Who says no? So I said, yeah, I said, absolutely. Of course. And I think it's a huge part of her upbringing, and she wanted, and for that to be in our family as well. And so we adopted Naily and from South Korea, and it was amazing. It happened a lot quicker than I thought it would, and I think Katie's celebrity helped out a lot. But also, we were open to special needs, and she had 2 holes in her heart at the time, and they repaired those 2 holes at age 3 months and 5 months. And they have really great surgeons in South Korea, and so she came to us when she was 9 months old, and then I had checked that box to say we would always be open to adoption, and any family, anybody wants whatever. And years later, we get a call that, this lady wants to, is open to the adoption process for her unborn child. And it was just out of the blue. Next thing you know, we had a newborn baby with Adelaide. It was crazy. It was crazy, and I was done. I was like, I didn't care about having a biological kid or anything. It was, I don't know. I just was like, once we had the 2 girls, I was like, okay, I'm done. This is great. This is perfect. And now let's get back to focusing on number 1 over here. We're so we're like dominant A personalities.
Right.
And then and then little Josh Jr. just out of the blue, man. Out of the blue, there was ladies, do not trust the app on your phone if it says there's no petals on the flower. There's a chance that there are petals on the flower.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah, so we had Johnny just out of pure luck or a miracle from God, because we gave up years ago.
Yeah.
And then 3 years ago, right around this time, I was coming home from San Francisco, and Carissa goes, "You got to get home right away." And I came home, and there is the pregnancy test in the back of the toilet. I'm like, holy shit,
That's awesome.
It's just an absolute blessing, So, but I appreciate the adoption thing, because my dad, who raised me, adopted me. It's
really?
It's one of those things. My mom is my mom, but she and my biological father got divorced when I was like 1, and then she remarried, and my dad adopted me.
That's great.
And it's just it's so important, and I wouldn't have ended up where I am today if it weren't for that guy stepping up and saying, "Got this, got it."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. I wonder if you can count the angels in your life that got you to where you are, because it takes a lot of them. And it's interesting. I mean, and I was very nervous about the adoption process. I remember being super nervous and thinking like, what if she doesn't like me, or what if she doesn't accept, what if she just like never thinks of me that way or whatever.
Right.
And that was absolutely the opposite. It's like right when she got into my arms, man, that was like, this is my baby. Oh my God, here we are. And we went straight to the TV and watched the Golf Channel for the next 365 days.
No, my mom said that I actually chose Rich Zink as my dad because I called him Daddy.
Oh, nice.
And then they got married after that.
Oh,
so
wow,
it was just
that's
like,
amazing.
It's just one of those deals.
That's awesome.
So I appreciate you talking about that.
Absolutely, of course.
So we've got a song here that I'm just in love with right now. So it's the last song on the new album.
Oh,
and
Busy Making Memories.
Busy Making Memories. And I just absolutely love it because I'm going through and I'm writing a book right now that's also called True Ambition, just like this podcast.
Nice.
And there's a chapter in there called No More Wasting Time. And it talks about a lot of the things that you're talking about in this song.
Yep.
And I wrote them down because I loved it so much that they had me running like a rabbit on a wheel, too busy chasing empty dreams. Now I'm busy making memories.
Yep.
And then in the next verse, you're talking to your dad.
Yep.
Talking about coulda, woulda, shoulda years, too busy in your history when you could have been making memories.
When you could be busy making memories.
Busy making memories. I freaking love it because
man.
It's so much about what I believe in, which is, a lot of people know about me. I'm in recovery. I've been 6.5 years sober. And there's so many people that are so busy in the past and also so busy in the future, and they piss all over today.
Oh, man, totally.
You have to be willing to look at today, love today, cherish this time, and be busy making memories. Absolutely.
Yeah, you get caught up in any kind of chase like that, or it's just, and I'm realizing now, I've always known it, but I'm realizing more so that, that whole cliche that life is fleeting, it is. I mean, this is a short life. It's really short, and too short to do all the things that I want to do. So I'm just, I realize how grateful I am. I have a wonderful life. I have a wonderful family, and I want to make sure that that's number one. And I do think for lack cliche here or whatever, but I think when you do put that number one, that everything, it just starts to fall into place. Like all the things that you were trying to get by hustling just kind of come to you. I really do believe that now. That the whole laws of attraction with, what you want, and there is, I think there's some ease to it when you stop pushing so hard, that it just kind of starts to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Just if you do the right thing for the right reason,
be a good person.
A good person. God will just show up and it'll just happen for you.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once I stopped chasing, and so many great things have happened to me over the last few years when I stopped chasing it.
Yeah.
And this song was actually kind of the start of it too. It came out of nowhere. I was very hungover when I wrote this song. It was right after New Year's, and I was kind of disgusted with myself. And I was just watching my kids just playing around me and everything. And I started playing this, and I this like random thing. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I was just sitting with the electric guitar actually, and I was just like going. Just out of the blue, all these lyrics just started pouring out. It was crazy. I basically finished 80% of the song that morning, and then went to the studio and then wrote the last verse in the studio. But you can either live in that wallow, or you can shake yourself out of it and live in the present right now and be grateful. You've got a lot of great stuff going on. So
busy making memories, baby.
Yeah, you want me to play it?
Please.
I never saw this day in my brain when I was carving out the rest of my life. 2 little girls and 1 little boy making angels under snow white skies. But I'm grateful for the changes in the plans that I once made, 'cause they had me running like a rabbit on a wheel, too busy chasing empty dreams. I should be busy making memories, busy making memories. I'm busy making memories, yeah. I got a call from my dad the other day, and we got to talking on about where the time goes. Reminiscing in the years gone by, I felt a sadness coming through that phone. I said, don't act like life is over. You got a long one left to live. So caught up in the coulda, woulda, shoulda years, too busy in your history, when you could be busy making memories, busy making memories. You could be busy making memories, yeah. Through the eyes of this camera, I'll take it all. Every single moment will carry on. In a door frame of this lived-in home, there's a pin hanging from a string. It writes the tale of a husband and a wife, steady growing up their family. You know, one of them's a thinker, one's getting taller every day. The other only cares about the dating scene, but I tell you that's okay with me, 'cause she's busy making memories, busy making memories for this ever-growing family. Oh, spinning like angels right in front of me, yeah. I'm busy making memories.
Sweet.
Awesome, bro. I'm going to use
Thanks, man.
awesome, Ed. You can't make me stop
Awesome.
using it.
It's awesome. Look at that guy.
right,
I love
so-
that song, man.
Oh, it's just so good. I played it for Carissa the other night, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's so good." So
Y'all
gonna
should see
end-
that video too, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the video. Katie and I shot that together. We actually do a lot of videos together, and then I basically load everything in Final Cut Pro, and then she just like scoots me off the seat, and she's like, "All right, let me take it from here."
Yeah.
And she edits these videos, and the video is beautiful, man. She
I
did a
haven't
great
seen
job.
that yet. I just
Yeah, it's
listened
cool.
to the song.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's fun. We have a good time doing that kind of stuff.
So, like I said before, this is called the True Ambition Podcast, and
Yep.
True Ambition comes from my time in recovery in AA. And one of the quotes that I read in there said that true ambition is not what we thought it was. True ambition is the profound desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace of God. When I read that years ago, it changed my life. You, like me, like many of the people that I talk to, are very ambitious. I was ambitious for the wrong reasons, is what I took from that quote. Once I changed the way I was living, kind of like we talked about a few minutes ago, and stopped, running on that hamster wheel or that rabbit wheel, things changed when I started doing things for the right reasons. Being where you've been, knowing what you know now, moving forward in your life. Last question I'll ask you. What's your true ambition moving forward in your professional life? And what's your true ambition in your personal life?
I think actually for those two things to live as more as one. I think that if my professional life and my personal life with my family, I think it's, I want them to be one vessel for good, one vessel, for calmness, one vessel for pause. I think it is ambitious to think that they can live together and that one shouldn't be separated. But to be honest with you, it's who I am. And if I try to push that one guy away and for the father me, it doesn't work. The musician me and the dad are the same guy. And so I've noticed that the closer that I'm getting to for them to live in the same vessel, the happier I am and the better I am at being a parent. You know what I mean? The better I am at being a husband and a listener. Yeah. There's definitely when I had that when there was a separation between the two, personally I was getting very dark. And so now I'm trying to pull the two together, and I think it's happening. I mean, I think if you listen to the music, I write a lot more about my family now, and it's easier to write about what you know. Yeah. Than it is for me to try to fabricate something that maybe I've read or something like that. And so that is one thing that is, I think, that is a part of that ambition is understanding that your audience, they can tell when you're full of shit. And they can tell when I'm singing about something that I really believe in. So that's the direction I'm going for the rest of my days.
That's a great answer. And this has been a great podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I consider myself very lucky to have met you and to call you a friend. Here. And this has been awesome. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we look forward.
Brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah. Well, we look forward to keeping in touch.
Absolutely.
And one of these days we'll make it up there to the ranch because I want to check that place out.
We'll record some music, and remember, we got ski season coming up. Just because COVID is around doesn't mean that I'm not going to get on some skis.
Oh, my big ass is not getting on skis.
I love it, man.
So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. All my best to your family. Brother. Happy holidays, and too, Merry Christmas and all that good stuff.
All right, brother. You too, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, later, soon, Josh.
The True Ambition podcast is brought to you by IT Avalon. For more information and links to other episodes, please visit www.trueambition.org. Now, go find your true ambition.